Okay, we're going to see how to do some matrix operations on this TI84. So let's say we want to go in and put a matrix. We go to second and then x to the minus 1, which is matrix. And you have to edit this, and that's where you get to define your matrices. So on matrix A, I'll hit enter. And I'm going to make a 3 by 4, 3 rows, 4 columns. So you go 3, enter, 4. And then we start putting in the numbers. So I'm going to put in these numbers here. 1, enter, 2, enter, 3, enter, 4, enter. And you notice it goes row-wise. And then 7, enter, 0, enter, 1, enter, 1, enter. And so here's a matrix, matrix A. And I'm going to, once I have that in, my second one, I go second quit. And that quits out of the matrix. So just to see what I put in, let's go second matrix again. On matrix A, I'm just going to hit enter and enter again. That is the matrix that I'm looking at. So let's say I want to reduce that matrix. I could do row echelon. I could do echelon form of the matrix, or I could do reduced echelon form. So I'll show you where both of those are. So we go to second matrix, and you go across to math now, and then you go down to let's see, it's the next one. It's down there. It is. So you have REF is echelon form, and RREF is reduced echelon form. So I'm going to do RREF. Let's see. So we click RREF, and then I go back to the matrix, second x to the minus 1, which is matrix. Hit enter on that. Hit enter on that, and you can close the parentheses or not for the TI84. But what it's going to do is give me the reduced form of this. And there we go. Okay. So if this were an augmented matrix, I would have this unique solution here. So, and if you want to make these decimals fractions, hit math and frac right away and enter. And there you are. There's the in fraction form, in rational form. All right. So that's how you reduce a matrix. Now, there are other things you can find in a matrix. So you can find the inverse of a matrix, the determinant, but those are square matrices we're going to work with. So let me go back here. If I just go to show you a few more things. So second matrix, and I'll go back to that matrix A and hit enter. I want to edit it. Let's say I made it a 3 by 3. So it's just going to lock off the last column of my matrix. Okay. So now it's a square matrix, and I'll go second quit. And let's say I wanted to find the inverse of this matrix. So I would go second matrix and hit that, A. And just like an inverse of a number, you hit x to the minus 1. That gives you the reciprocal of a real number, but of a matrix, it gives you the inverse if one exists. And there's my inverse. And again, I want math. I want it in rational form, so I go frac. And there it is in rational form. And you can store this matrix into something. So I could go store, STO, and I could go second matrix and go down to B. So I'm storing this inverse in B, and there we get the inverse of that matrix A in B. And now let's say I want to multiply two matrices. Well, let's go second matrix A, right? And I'm going to multiply that, as long as it's the same dimension, by with appropriate dimensions, by B. They're both 3 by 3, so that's fine. And what do you think? If I multiply a matrix by its inverse, you should get the identity matrix, right? So there's where identity is. The last thing I want to show you is you can find the determinant of a matrix by going to second matrix and go across to math and see the first thing is determinant. By the way, while I'm here, look, that T below determinant is the transpose of a matrix. So there are some other things you can do here. So let's find the determinant of matrix A. So we hit determinant and then go second x to the minus 1, hit matrix A, and I'm going to close the parentheses. You don't have to. TI defaults not to need that one. But the determinant of A is what? 122. Okay, so just some properties of or some calculations you can do on the TI84 with matrices. You can multiply, you can find inverses, you can reduce